Here from Mackie Park. It is, of course, the top side, Melton, the reigning premiers, taking on East Point in our match of the round. Should be an absolute cracking contest. Of course, these two sides met in the 2018 grand final in the Ballarat Football Netball League. And I'm sure the Bloods still remember that day. Of course, East Point won the premiership. And in any time these two sides meet, I'm sure the East Point boys do remind them that they still have plenty of premiership players rolling around this afternoon. Team news is in. 4 changes for the home side. The big news that was broken on Thursday night, Jack Watkins is available. The North Melbourne VFL skipper is going to come in this afternoon along with Erickson, Hibbert and Heaney, while Screenshields, Button and Borg and Payne go back to Port Melbourne, the VFL system. So a couple big changes there for the Bloods, whilst for East Point. 2 changes from the side last week. Out goes Toolman, out goes Charleston. In comes young Kane Irvine, who I think is an absolute beauty, averaging in 3 games of senior footy this season just a lazy 16 disposals, but all class and one for the future for the Kangas. And on debut is Dang Luell, not Luell Dang, not to be mistaken, of course, with the 2-time NBA All-Star from the Chicago Bulls back in the early 2010s, but he'll make his senior debut this afternoon for East Point. And today's clash, well, it's really all about which East Point lineup's going to rock up. A couple weeks ago against Sunbury, they were deplorable for their own standards. Last week, they were fantastic against Redan in a victory away from home. Well, their third away game here at the Highway at Melton, well, which just depends which Kanga sides come with Jackson Maris men this afternoon. Of course, road safety round this afternoon in the Ballarat Football League, hence the blue armbands on all the players this afternoon. So it's a big clash. Melton taking on East Point, only a few moments time away here live from Mackie Park. Both sides going through their final huddle here at Mackey Park. Last time these two sides met was, of course, back in round 7 action in the McDonald's Ballarat Football League. Melton, 83, defeated East Point, 75. The Johnston brothers were superb, probably arguably the best two on the ground in the loss, whilst it was the captain for Melton and Braden Kite, who kicked a game-high 4 goals and was the difference. And in the absence of the likes of Liam Carr, of course, out for the rest of the home and away season, no Davis again this week. His role becomes vitally important inside forward 50, just to give Ryan Carter, I guess, a second option. You might see Heaney down there as well to give a bit of length. And, of course, they're playing young Alex Kerr, kicked 2 goals on debut last week. So a couple options inside forward 50. I see O'Brien going down there as well with Archer available this afternoon. Means they can, I guess, swing the magnets in that department as well. Benny Archer, also an accomplished forward, so it could be an option for Aaron Timms in the box. Whilst for East Point, simple option this afternoon, get the ball out of the middle. The last 6 times these two sides have met, they've led at halftime against the Bloods and let it slip away. Of course, famously last year, led at halftime. Melton came after halftime, booted 13 goals. So it's always a fascinating clash between these two sides. We're off and running to get underway here at Mackey Park. And, of course, Watkins on cue. We get the first ball out to Walker. His right foot kick is in the Kerr direction on the outside. Sits up for Alex Kerr. And he's able to evade the tackle and send this one inside 50. He's looking for Russell. Fisted away there by Q and towards the boundary line. We'll get a ball in deep inside 50 to start things off. Melton kicking to the right of screen. No real breeze assistance this afternoon at Mackey Park. If anything, it's blowing across the ground, so both sides of the field should be fair enough to score from. Watkins, the early touch, at 40 for the Bloods last time he suited up for them. The North Melbourne VFL captain. East Point trying to work out here through Johnston. Handball over the top was more in hope than anything from McDougall to run to. Walker, his direct match-up, will hold things up in defence and was fantastic last week. Bryson McDougall, 5 goals, 20 possessions. Played more as a traditional centre-half forward. Definitely gave East Point more of a focal point inside forward 50. Conlins, kick smothered, came back to him, gets another chance and just dumps it down the line. Nice mark taken there by Melton in defensive side of centre wing on the outer side, virtually opposite from our broadcast position. Heaney, measured left foot pass is a good one, finds Watkins. The bright light lime green boots will be easy to spot. Walker will have it. And we'll look to send this one inside 50 with a kick. Fisted away from the defence there of East Point. Good follow up there by Watkins. His dribbling kick was cut off though to Lovic. Dumps it out to the broadcast side. Faruja should get there first. Has Cotter in support, and that's where he goes by hand. He goes back to Faruja. We'll go back to Cotter. Happy to share it. Rack up the possessions early. Dumps this one towards half forward in the Carter direction. Couldn't hang on with the one hand. Dodd waiting down, got the footy. Lovic steps around one would-be tackler to Johnston, to back to his teammate, and East Point work it from centre wing. A torpedo punt to no one as they have a vacant forward line to aim at. Suter gets there first and gives off to Cotter. So Cotter, his kick's poor. Molan going the way. Handball off to Hucker. Now McDougall. Still nothing really to aim at inside 50, so forced to go back towards the veteran in Whittaker. Runs out of real estate. Will get a ball in. East Point pressing high up the ground, trying to leave that forward line open. You saw it when Lovey got the 1-2 off half back, just tried to barrel it, but had nothing to aim at, so the ball just was always going to come straight back. So need to have somebody, Whittaker or McDougall, close to home, you would think logically. Over the top, Van Meel wins this one down. Johnston brought to ground. The tackle was going nowhere. Walker holding on, locking things up. Van Meel and Archer to continue here on true centre wing. And again, Van Meel's done well. Won it down. Johnston went to ground. Van Meel with a follow-up. Tried to nice little spin move, but couldn't get through Jack Walker. And it was locked up here still. Just the attacking side of centre wing for East Point. No scores to start things off. Archer to O'Brien in the Walker direction. Lockie goes towards Jack Walker. And a big tackle there by Llewell. First influence and his senior debut this afternoon, the number 21. Dane Llewell. So a true centre wing run in front of us here on the broadcast side. Ball brought back into the field of play. Archer maybe got a fingertip on that one. We'll give him the head out. Johnston and Walker, the two 11s. wrestle for it, and the umpire's just going nowhere. Real stalemate to start things off. Centre wing here at McPherson Park. No scores apiece. Van Meel, Archer to continue. Archer decisively wins this down, but straight to his opposing ruckman and Van Meel. Left foot kick will go towards St Arthur. Big fist over the top there from Heaney, brings to the ground. Ferrugia bumped off the footy. Walker coming through, didn't get through Dodd. And he wraps him up. Good start, good pressure from East Point. Brought the intensity around the contest. Joey Dodd's been fantastic the last month for East Point. Really kicked off with a 40-possession game against Bacchus Marsh a couple weeks ago. Had 34 against Sunbury and 26 last week to his name as well. Umpires paid a throw. Incorrect disposal will go the way of the excitement machine and Liam Canny, who can drive East Point into attack for the first time this afternoon. Goes wide to half forward. McDougall on the lead, and they don't go inside 50 with a kick, and a nice fist from Heaney, doing well. Knocks it out of play. We'll get a ball in. Back in this week, of course, missed last week through injury. Been one of their most consistent in season 2023. And he's swapped to defence from 2022. And the ball in will be locked up on the half-forward line here. Played 5 minutes in the opening term here. No scores apiece as we're back underway. Van Meel wins this one down. Clever knock-on from Sullivan. Just get the ball moving. Conlon somehow go to the Johnston, to Lovic. Owning's non-preferred will finally send East Point inside 50, but to no real prevail. Nice mark in defence taken there by Archer. Comes broadcast side. Watkins of the Lockie variety showed good hands. Handball off there to Ferrugia as the running man. And from centre wing, he drills one down the line. Kite, the natural target, got a unkind bounce. Fraser tried to ride the tackle, couldn't get away. Watkins with class out the back there towards Geordie Kite, who goes inside 50 with a bouncing kick. Trying to keep it alive was Melton, but it falls out of bounds and deep in the right forward pocket, about 30 metres out from goal. Neutral contest, played between the two halves to start. Now deep inside 50 for the Bloods. Look for the likes of Kite to get on the move here. We know he's got those dancing feet and can evade a tackle. No ruckman touches it. Watkins tried to get boots of ball. Umpire said he did just in time. Fraser dumps it out the fence. Archer behind the footy. Couldn't mark this one. Good handball by Walker. Ferrugia couldn't pick it up. Might open the door for Canny. Got the hands open to Dodd. Did well his bootlaces. Has nothing to aim for. Handball straight to the line. And very probably lucky to get one in the back, because otherwise insufficient intent was probably going to go the way of Melton. But the full's going to come back. It's going to go the way of Joey Dodd. So the little number 6 just measures a 15-minute pass down the line to Whittaker. Couldn't mark. Watkins, and incorrect disposal, and now advantage taken. Ferrugia didn't know to stop or go. Russell couldn't mark. And even though the umpire waved advantage, it probably more confused the Melton attackers coming forward. They heard the whistle, they stopped for a second, saw it was their footy and didn't continue on. So not really favouring the whistle on that occasion for Melton. Half forward, Van Meel got rid of Archer, won it down. Johnston off there to Fraser. Measured pass towards centre wing. Will favour Heaney at the back. Off to Suda. Rode the run tackle, got it over the shoulder. Gave it off anyway to Phillips. He dumps towards centre forward, and again that advantage. Probably not favouring Melton, although Slater's dropped one he should have taken. East Point have the numbers. Nice pass finds Irvine. Number 2 back in the lineup this week after playing in the under-19s last week for East Point. Off one step, dumps it towards centre wing. Archer's behind the footy. Can he well make a contest of broad the ground, but it's all Melton. Now Watkins through the middle. Nice pass. Finds his target. Sullivan with it. Can send the Bloods into attack. Looking for Carter. The natural target. Couldn't hang on. Walsh did enough not to infringe. Lovic with the handball on the outer side. And East Point escape. Q overcooked it just. Manito will get there first. Goes inside with the hand pass. Sullivan didn't know how to play it, bearing down on him, and he's gone. Holding the ball. Free kick go the way of East Point. And their pressure's been right up for this contest here. Of course, 7th place on the ladder, 0.5% outside the 6. They've come to play here to start at Mackey Park. No scores yet to start, though. Off one step, Merritt will just go towards true centre wing. Johnston from behind, forced to spoil on this occasion. Umpires picked out a free kick. It's going to go the way of the Bloods, though, for an infringement in the marking contest. Played 8.5 minutes. to start here at Mackie Park, and there's been no scores. Laterally, Suter will go and find Archard. Looks to go corridor bound with the kick to Walker. Handball off's a good one. Inside 50 go. Melton looking towards Carter again. Fraser did well, works his way to the front, and then bounced up nicely, did the youngster. Joe Fraser, well played, and the kick's a beauty for Whittaker to slide in and mark. Very nice play. He'll go inboard, find Johnston in the middle of Mackie Park. Wants to spread it wider, has merit for him. He marks. Only man inside 50 for East Point was Robinson. That's where the kick goes now. He does have a good set of hands. Suter got it down to ground. Cotter waiting down by himself. And the Bloods will escape on the broadcast side, although Archie and Ferrugia nearly made a meal of it. Maybe a lack of talk from the youngster to the veteran, but he does mark inside the fence, does Ferrugia. Measured pass, top's going to Walker. Had plenty of it early, as he always does. Averaging high 20 disposals a game, and that kick to centre back's a good one. Finds Riley Walker. So Jack to Riley. Just need Lockie to connect the trio, but finds Watkins instead. He goes down the middle of Mackie Park, hoping for the lead of one of the small forwards in Sullivan. Stood up for Sullivan in the end. Handpass off. Right foot kick. We go towards full forward. Well, that was going to have to be good, and was. Got it out there towards Molan. And East Point's defence holding up under the pressure early. Irvine marks. Measured pass is a good one. Mark taken there by Taylor. You can go back to Irvine as they share it here on the broadcast side. Called to go. Measures it down towards centre wing. Canny, unable to mark. Nice ball by Ferrugia. He dumps it down the line. 1-on-1 contest had the footy. Fisted away by the East Point defence. Kite the crummer. Took the Taylor tackle on. Umpire's got a decision to make and says he's gone. As soon as he elected to put that arm out just slightly, umpire took that as prior opportunity, and East Point, through Geordie Taylor, the two-time premiership player, will have it. Kicks it about 14 metres, but the umpire will pay it. Mark's taken there by Johnston, the captain. Slightly overshadowed in the stats department by his brother last week, but I arguably think he was the best on ground. His influence in the second half against Redan last week was superb as Q lines up and marks on the half-back line. Sammy Q will go towards Johnson. Sits on his head a little bit. Does have a good set of hands. O'Brien just cut down the angle. Fists out of play. We're going to ball in. Good forward pressure there by the Bloods. John O'Brien doing well there. Playing a different role second half of the season. Started forward today. Extra midfield around the contest. Can do a bit of ruck work as well. Real utility for Aaron Timms' side as Walker couldn't get away. Canny sharp handball towards Johnston. Trying to link up with his brother. Whittaker with the sharp hands. Geordie Johnston now with a chance. Has two to beat. Lines his friend. Somehow kept it alive. Well played, Geordie. And JJ go off to Canny. He'll go inside 50. Nice kick. Marcus taken there by Robinson. Used the body well early. 45 metres out on a sharpish angle. Off a couple of steps. We'll set up towards the goal square. Merritt couldn't take the mark. Numbers favour Bloods at the ground level. Walker waltzes out of fence. Gives off to Suter. Still no scores as we're midway through the opening term. Melton through Walker will look to go towards the outside. It's a poor kick. Should be coming back. East Point have the numbers around the contest. Rightful kick there by Gangley. Should work out to Molan. He gives off the running hand pass. Opportunity for Lovic to run up from 40 to kick the first score of the day. But to cross the face for a minor score. So Blemish to kick things off here as we've played 12, now 13 minutes in the opening term. 1 point. East Point lead. Melton yet to score. So Cotter, as always, will kick in, averaging 30.5 disposals a game, and of course gets plenty of cheap ones here from fullback, as you can just waltz out with a couple of bounces like now these days. And he draws a long one towards centre wing. Carter, a long way up the field, good hands. Last year's Tony Lockett medalist. Works up high, dumps a long one towards half forward as the Bloods look the slingshot. Sullivan had a couple of interesting moments, couldn't mark, and now he's infringed. Slater has the size advantage, and Sullivan forced to grab the jumper. East Point started well. Lead by 1 point in a low-scoring start. Lovic, the only man who has scored now, has it. The vice-captain takes it. Mr. Consistent in the Ballarat Free League. Rarely puts together a bad performance. Goes just the required 15 to Molan. We'll go towards true centre half back. Mark taken there by Harry Gangley. Looks to spread across the ground towards Irvine. Kick's going to be good. And the hands were shown just as good by Irvine. He's just got something about this kid. Plays on now, dumps it down the line. It's a poor one as I wrapped him up. Bit of a scuffle on the middle of the ground as well as the ball's gone towards Suter, who marks. Just stops and props, looks corridor. Now measures something in the middle. It's got to be good. Llewellyn over the top, made a contest, couldn't mark. Inside 50 goes Russell. Carter's got at the back, used the body well early. Just need to sit up for their leading goal kicker. And they just didn't. Ball ran away from him for a minor score, one behind each. As Lovick will come out towards the broadcast side. Jeffries working high up the ground. Kick's going to be good towards Llewellyn. It wasn't. Hibbert knocked it down. Watkins coughed it up. Q spun 360. Johnston got the handball away from the O'Brien tackle. Now Canny to Slater. Didn't know Clapp was coming. Shrugged the first, didn't shrug the second. He's gone. Maybe had a case for initial contact being over the shoulder. Umpire said no. And once he said that, you knew the second one was going to be paid for holding the ball. So Sean Gold kicked things off here, maybe for the first time today for a goal. It's going to go the way of Ericsson, inside forward 50. Back in the lineup this week. And for the first major, he'll shoot from about 45 metres out, pretty much directly in front. So for the opening goal of the day, first set shot of the afternoon. Gets as close as he can to the man of the mark who's worried about the distance in the end. He's made the distance and lost all the accuracy to do so, and it's gone out on the full. East-Point will go short. They find Johnston. He marks in deep in his defence. Down the line has the loose Taylor, and he'll mark on his chest unopposed. As Irvine laterally wants to look more corridor bound, and the kick's a good one to Conlon. He'll mark. Lovick will provide the running support, ignores that. Might continue to switch here on the broadcast side where Llewellyn's loose. And for his first disposal, senior footy, he'll end up with it. Hand pass off a good one towards Dodd. Measured left foot kicks down the line, more and hope. Behind the footy, Walker working back, unopposed marks. Both sides sort of playing that extra defender behind the footy, making it very hard to transition at the moment. Ferrugia, being one of the beneficiaries of that, had plenty of it. Looks down the line towards Carter, hit the contest hard, so did Ericsson. Ball is to turf. Carter follows up, hand pass off there to Watkins. He spins around blindly and dumps one in towards half forward. Well, backing back, nice hands. That's a confidence booster if I've ever seen one on debut. I knew the pressure was coming from behind, stood strong. Nice mark taken there by Dane Llewellyn. Left foot kicks a dangerous one. Dodd, full stretch, couldn't hang on. Might open the door here for Watkins. Spun 360, got it out the hand pass to Ericsson. It was smothered and somehow found the lap there of Watkins. He dumps it towards full forward, and by himself, slipping in the back contest was Kite, who marks on a 45-degree angle, about 30 metres out, and just showed experience there, did Braden Kite. Turnover was created. He just slipped at the back, got into a dangerous area, knew if they won the footy, he was going to be the man and the target. Kick around the body, found him. Now Braden Kite. Normally does this so well. A sharpshooter for Melton for so long. Comes in, starts at left, and it's not going to bend back. A minor score. So it's two behinds now to the home side to lead things here over East-Point, the one behind. We've played 17 and a half minutes in a low-scoring affair to kick things off. Johnston doing the kicking duties, goes short to Fraser. East-Point can now go long from deep in the fence. Target is found, and East-Point happy to hold possession as they look and break to the outside. Slater with a kick. The direct opponent fell over was Cotter. Opens the door made for Canny. He takes the mark and goes in one motion towards half forward with a kick. Sits up for McDougall. Right foot kick will go inside 50. Wobbly one to do so. Melton have the numbers in defence. Suter off the Walker. Happy to share it inside the fence. A measured pass should find the loose man in Heaney. Well played by Melton. Very composed inside their back six. Measured pass there will find Watkins. Jack Watkins with it on the defensive side of centre wing. A measured pass will find Jack Walker. Not for the first time those two have combined it. Both ball magnets, of course. Jack Walker's good pass and Kite on the lead marks. Well watched by Harry Gangley this afternoon. High ball towards centre half forward. Now, Carter's by himself, and I think initially didn't know the kick was intended for him. Working a bit harder back towards the face of goal. He marks, just goes the required 15 and shares it. Not 15, says the umpire. Sullivan's got to go now. Was clever on the non-preferred. Cotter is floating inside 50 will mark. So Carter marked, didn't kick it 15 metres. Sullivan had to go. Quick thinking by him on his non-preferred to dump it inside 50 to the loose man in Cotter. And now maybe, as we are getting closer and closer to the time on in the opening term, the first goal might be coming up through Geordie Cotter. Of course, we see his prolific kicking from the full back line so often for the Bloods. Can hit the scoreboard for the first time this season. Kick is on its way and shows that he's been probably not doing a lot of that at the training track. He's missed to the near side, so 3 behinds to the 1 behind to start things off. Dodd working deep into the fence will take the mark. Measured pass should find Conlon. It's been a different approach from East Point here. Happy to hold the footy. Normally play a bit more of a kamikaze type style. But trying to, I guess, possess and show their foot skills and use the vast expanse here in McPherson Park. Nice lead up play. Mark taken there by Merritt. The coach will play on. Kick towards centre wing, towards Van Meel. Suda did well not to infringe despite being outside. Hand pass off here to Watkins from 60 towards full forward. Walsh in front, got a fist in there. Didn't get enough of a fist on it. Leaves the door open ajar there for Carter, and he'll kick the opening goal of the day. It was Walsh backing back. Got the knuckle up. Fisted it towards the goal face. Didn't get it through. And easy as you like, Ryan Carter kicks the first goal of the day here. It's 1 goal, 3-9. Melton lead. East Point the 1 behind. As we're into time on in the opening term, it took that long for the first goal of the day. It came from a usual source. Ryan Carter kicks goal number 32 of the season. Last year's Tony Lockett medalist. On down there by Van Meel. Taylor trying to come through, couldn't quite gather. Dodd to his own advantage more than anything. Canny, left foot kicker inside 50. Bouncing ball, McDougall couldn't quite get it. Robinson got a bad bounce. Melton's defence has been so composed thus far. Merritt doing the tackling on this occasion will lock things up. The likes of Cotter, Faruja, Suter all had plenty of it inside the fence to start things off here. Hard to back 6 to break down, and as they rush that one through Blake Suter for a minor score. East Point need to maximise every inside 50 because they're too and far in between at the minute. As Cotter comes broadcast side, nice pass, should find Kerr. Marked well, despite the attention applied there by Johnston. Down the line, the kick somehow worked out its way towards Kite. A little party trick to himself. Now Watkins, back to Kite. Jeffries with the follow-up. Bit of push and shove continues here on true centre wing. Captain didn't like what he saw, and Geordie Johnston was in plenty of action last week with the push and shove involved again. As we'll try to keep with the action here on true centre wing, but players coming in for a scuffle. Umpire having a close eye on it. We're back underway with Van Meel taking front position. Molan overran it. Hibbert will dump it down the line with a left foot kick. Open forward line to aim at. Carter goes inside with the hand pass. Opens the door for Walker. Lines up from 40. Steadies, kicks, and got the most unkind bounce. As the spectators here to my left made sure we all knew about it. It took a leg break away and hit the post for a minor score. What looked like a certain goal. East Point get a bit of luck as they look to go quickly towards the outer side. They have the overlap runner in McDougall. The hand pass from Molan will hit him, and he's got a vacant 50 to aim at. Runs his full measure, takes the bounce, runs to 60, lowered his eyes, played it well. Jeffrey should mark. Plays on, goes into the pocket. Well, in the end, it's come back to him. Left foot kick is in the canny direction. At full stretch, couldn't hang on. And Melton, again, composed of half-back through Suter. Long footy towards centre wing on the outside. Fisted forward this time by Carter. Towards half-forward, Sullivan. Nothing to aim at. Been the style of play all afternoon. Has to go laterally to Watkins. He'll mark. Plays on this Jack Watkins. Tries to pinpoint the target, and Brian backing back there was Hucker getting in the hole and taking the mark. Looks towards Johnson, backing back. He's got to be courageous. Almost spectacularly took the mark, but hit the turf. Watkins off there towards the teammate Hibbert. He'll go inside 50, looking for Carter. One-on-one, he's just too good for Mitch Walsh. Knew where the drop zone was going to be, and the kick was perfect to his advantage. And he'll line up directly in front, 40 from goal. Good kick, good mark, and, well, the best kick arguably in the competition, lining up for his 33rd of the season and second goal of the afternoon. Been open style from both sides, working high up the ground, trying to leave their forward lines as open as they can. It's favouring Melton at the minute. Been able to isolate this man on a couple occasions. And if it continues, he might end up with a big bag this afternoon. He's just got the early signs of it getting dangerous. As he squeezed home his second, gone by to a bit of a merry dance. But it's through the big sticks. And the second goal of the afternoon, the way the Bloods. 2-4-16 leads the two behinds here as we approach the quarter time siren. Played 24 and a half minutes in this opening term. Melton, a couple of goals through Carter. Got some separation, well-deservingly on the scoreboard. As we're back underway with Arch and Van Meel to continue their ruck battle. Archer with the follow-up. Stiff arm was good. Got out the back there to Watkins. He'll dump it towards True centre forward. Irvine didn't know if the mark will go. In the end, slapped it away towards his teammate's advantage. Carter, sharp hands, somehow off the kite, puts the stiff arm back to Irvine, steadies from 48, lines up the goal, and kicks one of the wonderful goals of the season. A bit of individual brilliance by Braden Kite, and Melton go bang, 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 as it's on in the middle. And I think we'll get a free kick at the restart, the way of East Point. But a goal, nevertheless, still to Braden Kite. Captain's goal, if you ever seen one, from 48. Individual brilliance once again from the skipper. East Point will go quickly. Then shell-shocked with bang, bang, bang goals to Melton. Irvine off to Conlon. Looks for the 1-2. Conlon says no. Foot candy was superb. Now measures one in towards the pocket. McDougall couldn't get up there to meet it. Jeffries took on the tackler. And umpire said it must have been stripped in a tackle. And Jeffries held on. We'll get a free kick inside 50 as the crowd's just starting to come alive in the contest. Been a fiery affair. Of course, plenty of no love lost, I guess, from the 2018 grand final. That's been on full display. As after the siren, it's going to be Jack Jeffrey on 50. Tarnish angle. Has to start to probably tuck it up against the left-hand goalpost and hope the bit of breeze assistance might fade it through. Tough kick for a right footer after the siren. Jeffries kicks it exactly where I told him to and puts it between the big sticks. Shushes the crowd, and East Point get one to close at the quarter time as they've come alive here at McPherson Park. So quarter time, 3-4-22. Melton, they lead East Point 1-8. We're going to take a break here. It's been a fiery opening term here live in round 13 action in the McDonald's Ballarat Football League.
The McValue Bundle at Macca's. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on?
Push buttons to park magically.
Welcome back live to McPherson Park. A fiery opening term sees Melton 3 goals for 22 lead. East Point 1-2-8. A couple of goals to Ryan Carter, looks ominous inside forward 50, whilst Braden Kai kicked one of the goals of the season when he took on the tackle and went bang from 50 to make it 3 in a row to kickstart things for Melton. On the siren though, Jack Jeffries' dubious free kick, has to be said, went back from 50 and kicked a wonderful goal and added more spice by pointing to the crowd as the ball sailed through over the goalpost hat. No love lost, of course, between these two sides. 2018 grand final. Wasn't that long ago. East Point were victorious that afternoon. And Melton, of course, have gone on and won last year's premiership, but haven't forgotten what happened to Mars Stadium on that fateful September day. That was a high-scoring affair, real shootout it seems. This one, more of a tight tussle. I thought East Point did well to control pressure early and, I guess, take the oxygen as much out of the contest as they could from here. The Bloods, though, when they can open that forward line up, get Carter one-on-one, look far too superior for their Kangas counterparts. East Point, well, the story was, can they get out of the middle to start things? And, well, Walker, Watkins, they've been superb and had plenty of the footy early, so that might be the message from Jackson Merritt. Let's win it at the source, and let's win it right now. As one down by Archer to Walker. Had a fresh airy. Ball spills free. Mojito left it behind. Dodd with a hand pass to the running man, and Conlon will go inside 50 with a left foot kick. Merritt did well to get his opponent, rid of his opponent illegally. Off the deck towards Whitaker. Ball slapped back in defence towards Suter. Tries to evade the tackle. Did well to Jack Walker, and his measure pass is a good one. Mark taken there by Watkins. He'll go into the corridor with a kick. It's a nice one to Ferrugia. Running man there is Jack Walker. Spearing pass will mark will be Kite. Has Sullivan now at half forward. He marks, tucks it under the arm, takes a bounce, steadies from 40, and for the perfect start, pops it over the goal by his hat. Wonderful transition from full back to full forward, and Brodie Sullivan seals the deal to make it Melton's fourth of the afternoon. 4-4-28 leads 1-2-8 here live at McPherson Park. Worrying signs in the East Point coach's box. Just their midfield not working hard enough through the corridor. It was just too easy. Walker with the 1-2 through the middle. Found Sullivan. He streamed in unopposed, and the small forward kicks his first goal of the afternoon. Quite similar to the East Point performance we saw against Sunbury a couple of weeks ago, where they were smashed in all departments and really smashed in the work rate department, especially as Watkins goes back to Maedo. He'll go inside 50 towards centre forward, actually just pulled at the end, and Mark's taken there by Geordie Kite. Too far at the score. Goes long towards Carter. Couldn't hang on with the first bite of the cherry. Might get a second attempt. Brought the ground in the Fraser tackle. Deep in the right forward pocket. Will get a ball up. 22 points the margin. Game high margin to start things here. Back underway. One down by Carter doing the ruck work. Kerr with a tackle. Not rewarded. Irvine doing the same as the two number twos do. Some defensive work for their respective sides. We'll get back and going again. Umpire goes down. Van Meel slaps it in the Johnston direction. He tries to spread on the outside and in the end was happy to find the safety of the boundary line. Gained a bit of territory, has to be said, more to a less dangerous area. We'll get a ball in. Arguably been East Point's best. The captain had plenty of it. Was super last time these two sides met with 30-odd disposals to his name. That's what he averages a game in season 2023. Just so consistent. And would be one of the outside chances once again for the Henderson medal. Back underway, inside 50. Both ruckman holding, says the umpire. Archard somehow go to the back to a teammate. Mahito just dumps it to a dangerous area. Kite and Gangley. Gangley went without it and is rewarded. Kite just maybe slightly overzealous. And well played by the premiership defender and Harry Gangley. Didn't take possession, won himself the free kick. In defence, spreads it wide, finds Johnston. East Point happy to go to the far side. Hand pass by Conlon's a good one. Slater on the overlap with a good kick finds Merritt, working high up the ground. Been a revelation at half forward this season. Of course, played all his AFL football in the midfield, but still finding plenty of it and been kicking goals. As he dumps this inside 50, back was Heaney, couldn't take the mark. Waiting down with it was his direct opponent, McDougall. We've got the right foot snap high inside forward 50. Johnston from the side, couldn't take the mark. Cotter first to get it off the Heaney, and Melton survive and go long to the outside. Merritt backing back, should mark and does. Had Slater Latchley, decides to go more direct towards half forward. Had Johnston on the lead, but in the hole was Archard. And the big fella will come across his defensive 50 to the impressive Ferrugia. And kicked down the back pedal, would set it on his head, his direct opponent. Lovick was able to dump it inside 52. Bryson McDougall. Handball off to Jeffries, goes back to McDougall. Put the stiff arm out in front of Cotter, and we got him. Got the handball away just in time, but Mahito will come out of defence. A wobbly ball in the Russell direction. Fraser did well to strip him of it and came away with the footy in the end. Dumps a long one inside 50. Look for the high fly top, and Robertson couldn't quite take it. The second bite of the cherry, bounced up like a cat. Right foot snaps across the face and falls in just the field of play. One of their players that's still eligible for the under-19s is Robinson. Kicked 9 goals this season, ever since making his debut back in round 6. And has shown a good set of hands on numerous occasions. Boundary throw fell a bit short. Makes it a dangerous area for the Melton fence to deal with. Watkins on his non-preferred side. Tried a little dodgy left-handed hand pass in the direction of Walker. We'll get a ball in. Road safety round in round 13 action in the McDonald's Ballarat Football League. We're live here from McPherson Park 5 minutes into the second term. It's 4-4-28. Melton leading the visitors East Point 1-2-8. The Kangas inside 50 as Watson's kicks is smothered and comes back in the McDougall direction. Hand pass over top to the impressive Molan. His right foot kick was smothered, came back to him, smashed it across the face of the goal and scrapes it in for a behind. 1-3-9, trails 4-4-28. As we'll have to wait for Walker to jump the fence and get the footy. Obviously, I'm hoping no spectators in their cars that couldn't go out there and help Riley. It's always dangerous seeing our players jump the fence for their boots on. Kodak will do the kicking in duties, as always. Wants to go to the middle this time. Kicks a good one in the Mojito direction. Didn't break stride and marked inside defensive 50. Missed a number of games through injury, but hasn't missed a beat since returning a couple of weeks ago. Goes in the direction there of Carter. Used the body well early. Kick towards half forwards a beauty. Russell, though, couldn't handle it. Fraser comes away with it. Molan, to his own advantage, did well. Went inside the Dodd. That was super play by East Point. Now with the 1-2 is Dodd. Maybe a 1-3 for Joey Dodd. He gets it back on his natural side. Over there towards Canny. Dumps it towards full foot. Robertson again. Couldn't mark it again for the second time. Deep inside 50. The follow-up tackle was good. Melton tried to clear. Farrugia able to shin it into the boundary line and out of play. But a couple warning signs deep inside 50 with Robinson. Normally has the sticky mitts. Haven't shown him yet today. Could have easily clunked a couple. Back underway. Inside 50. Merritt just left it behind. Walker off to Watkins. A dodgy left foot kick goes down the line. Llewell off to Hucker. Inside there to Canny. Off one step. Dumps the torpedo punt towards full forward. Big fist from Heaney brings it to the ground. Conlon. Inside towards Whitaker, off a standing start. Right foot snap was always bending too much from there and goes through for a minor score. Now an even 18-point margin here. 4-4-28 leads 1-4-10. Minimal opportunities for East Point, so those half ones you really think need to go between the big sticks, being the travelling side this afternoon. Melton have just been so good at McPherson Park the last few seasons. Undefeated here last year, undefeated here, only the one loss this year thus far to Darley, of course. Long kick towards the outside. Nice mark, should have been paid and is from the likely Fraser. And a 50-metre penalty will bring him into goal-scoring range. Footy not going back to him directly. And he'll line up from about 35 metres out. As the momentum swing is just starting to favour East Point going right of the screen here. It's traditionally the scoring end, of course, here at McPherson Park. And if he kicks this to the 8-minute mark, maybe they can really build themselves into the contest. So the youngster from 35 starts his approach. Steady and kick is across the face, and he's just scraped it through for a minor score. So that's 3 behinds in the term to East Point. That one the most gettable. I know it was coming from an unlikely source, but 1-5-11 trails 4-4-28. Cotter, as always, continues the responsibility of going long out of defence and takes his trademark, couple bounces, runs his full measure and dumps it long and wide towards Carter. Johnston in front. Well, umpires paid a hold off the contest. Mojitos was dumped without it. He'll end up with the footy. Takes the advantage inboard towards a standing start of Walker. Now he got boots of ball. Umpire's blowing the whistle just slightly early. Taylor's going to be rewarded, and a bit of luck for East Point as he goes laterally towards Lovic. Had Gangley running past, ignored that initially. Wants to go long inside 50. Looking for McDougall. Couldn't take the mark. Ball is the turf. Right foot smack from Merritt. Needs the kindest of bounces. Didn't get it. Went through for another minor score. 1-6-12 to 4-4-28. Warning shots being fired, but not between the big sticks. Melton still in control here by 16 points at McPherson Park. Now, Cotter can go short this time to Walker, who's by himself, and that's what he does. So the long-sleeved number 28 premiership player, Riley Walker, with a deep in his defence. Cool to go. Heaney, best position, flies and takes a strong grab. Become a trademark of his footy here at McPherson Park. That's a good kick. We'll find Kite. We've already seen him slingshot once in this term. Can they do it again? From fullback, they go towards half forward. Carter got at the back again. Handball over the top. just needs to sit up for Eriksson. Didn't get the kindness of bounces, and East Point's defence will hold up. Long kick towards the outside. It's going to only hit fine Mojito. He's unopposed. Lowers the eye. Spearing pass. Overcooked it slightly for his direct target. Big footy be won. Johnston did enough. Got out the back there towards Canny, who just dumps a high one and long one as far as he can to the far side. Walker will always win the foot race there. Got it to Phillips and does well to get the 1-2, does Riley Walker. From centre wing, drills it towards half forward. It's a nice pass. Should be taken in the mark there by Watkins. He now looks to go inside 50 with the kick. Carter couldn't quite hang on in the 2-on-1 contest. Johnston out there, the Walsh kick was smothered. Still a chance inside 50 maybe for the Blood. Sullivan taken to the turf. Umpire says no free kick. Lovick coming out of the fence, had a slight fumble and tackles the opposing number 17 and Watkins, who didn't correctly dispose of the footy. Free kick the way of Lovick as he goes towards centre-half back and finds Johnston. Now, Jeffrey's just come off the bench. If you can spot him on here on the broadcast side, that's where he goes. Sits on his head a little bit. Great fist by Hibbert backing back. Kick had just too much airtime on it. Well picked up there by Molan, though, as he goes towards half-forward. Johnston on the lead. Maybe a call for chopping the arms. Umpire says no. Kite with the follow-up. The handpass to that man in Hibbert. Got it there to Ferrugia. Handpass in the Russell direction. He went without it. Had a fumbly start to start things in the number 73. As Slater's brought the ground that tackle and we'll get a ball up. So well played by Hibbert on this broadcast side. The Johnston kick came to Jeffries, who just came off the bench. Was able to get a fist in there and create this neutral contest on centre wing. That man on cue just overran that one. Canny brought to the ground. Umpire's going to give him the free kick. So Liam Canny, the set-up attack once again for East Point. Goes towards full forward and towards Whitaker. Got there, couldn't hang on. Ball still in dispute. Mojito went without it and was held too long without it. Free kick will go the way of Melton. Deep, well, a true centre-half back, Adrian Mojito to have it. As Walker on the broadcast side, if that's where he wants to go, but looks to the other side where the lead was on it. Nice kick in the Sullivan direction, Marks. Kicked the only goal this term in the opening minute. Goes laterally to find Archard. As Melton trying to set up maybe a switch here towards the broadcast side. Benny Archard having none of it. They will just run his full measure of halfback and dump a long one high in the Carter direction. Ball had a lot of hang time on it. Easy enough for the East Point defence to deal with. Nice measured pass will find Johnston. He goes inboard with the kick. Q marks. Has the running man. Couldn't quite get it to him, so he has to go back over his mark. Takes on the whoopie tackler. Kick was smothered. The pressure was superb from Melton. And now they go the other way. Kite over the top towards half forward. Will get it back inside towards Walker. He'll dump it long one to a one-on-one contest. And it has Ryan Carter's name all over it. At the minute, that matchup is a real headache for the East Point coach's box. He's all over Mitch Walsh like a rash at the minute. Kicked a couple, clunked plenty of them, gone out the back numerous times. This time, just takes an easy one-on-one mark inside 50. And for all East Point's good work, where they hit 4 behinds in a row, and we're building some momentum in the contest, a turnover in the middle of the ground from Sam Q. And Melton slingshot it inside forward 50. They get it to their spearhead, who goes back from 40 and kicks his third. Seems to be the difference in the contest at the minute. Ryan Carter inside forward 50. He has Melton's 5th of the afternoon. They move to 34. East Point stuck on 12. Fourteen and a half minutes played in the second term. So going to this one, East Point had led Melton 5 of the last 6 times at the first main break when these sides met. Melton doing the fast start this time and trying to rectify that little stat that was favouring East Point. Archard with the clearance will go long towards the outside. Backing back there was Hucker. Did well actually to recover the footy. Goes inboard with the kick. Sits on the head there of Molan. Archard over tops. Being paid the mark by pointing the wrong way to confuse us all, but justice is served and goes with the measured pass. Marks taken there by Watkins. Number 8's called to go and goes towards Carter. Maybe had the one arm pinned. Follow up, good tackle there by Gangley. At the back went Slater. Whoa, she's had a tough day. Got boots the ball, bouncing towards the boundary line on the other side. Appeals for maybe some insufficient attempt from the Melton half forwards, not going their way. We'll get a ball in between half forward and centre wing on the outer side. 5-4-34 leads at 1-6-12. Here in road safety round 13 action in McDonald's Ballarat Football League. Reaching over top was Van Meel. Handpass at the back towards Irvine. O'Brien dumped him in the tackle and got rid of it. Sullivan towards full forward. Llewellyn getting in the hole. Made a contest as Carter's tackle in the follow-up was over the shoulder. Be a free kick the way of Lovick. Measured pass should find Walsh. Need to see some run and dash here from East Point. Dane Llewellyn takes the mark on debut. Done a couple of nice things. That kick finds Mitch Walsh, and he should get the run handball back, although Walsh evades and goes to his own right side. High kick towards half forward. Walker, unopposed, couldn't get there. Fisted inside 50 there by Van Meel, making it a difficult ball to deal with. McDougall could have gave the handball, decided to go over the shoulder. And in the end, it's across the face and out of bounds, and maybe should have gave it to the streaming man, Hucker, who was bursting inside forward 50 and let him have a ping from the pocket, but Bryson went around the corner himself, and we'll get a ball in deep inside 50. They need to get some bang for their buck, have controlled the territorial balance, and only turnovers that have cost them in this term. Sent Johnston forward of the Jordan variety in this term to try to give a spark down there. He's been well held by Walker at most of the contest. Archard decisively wins it down. Suda, more just space than anything. Might open the door here for East Point. Around the body towards full forward, and nice hands. Mark's taken there. Looks like a full stretch by Whittaker, who hit it at full velocity and has to go back, the assistant coach, and thread this one through. And as I said, give East Point some bang from their buck, because they've been in there this term. A couple of costly skill errors have hurt them. They're not playing horrible footy. Come in. There's Brad Whittaker, and he's missed as well. And that's poor from the veteran. Was good last week with 3 goals as their leading goal kicker in season 2023, and would like to have his time again as Cotter streams out defence and takes a couple of bounces to the outside. Going to be saying that all afternoon. Mahito goes short, and it's a good one to find the leading man in Kerr. 1-7-13 Charles, 5-4-34. Bad kicking is bad football, is the saying, and that's East Point at the minute. As he goes down the line, Carter forced to play the role of defender. Fist that one out of play. Of course, when first coming to the Bloods from Williamstown, started in deep in defence at Ryan Carter and was superb at that, and at the start of the 2018 season was swung forward with his brother Liam and become a dominant duo ever since. And now has a Tony Lockett medal to his name, and with 3 goals this afternoon, may have taken back the lead in that race for the 2023 Lockett medal. Quick kick forward. It's a bouncing, tough one to deal with. Got through everyone. Clean bowled everyone, if you don't mind. Cotter getting back towards Farrugia. On hands and knees, somehow shoved back to Cotter, so it all works out in the end. Mahito had a good term. Kite's dumping kicks going to be cut off. Inside to Molden. Go East Point. Irvine just required 15, hits the target. This is where they've been good in the contest, linking up at half forward. Working hard again is Irvine to get the footy. It's just the final product at the minute. Runs his full measure, dumps it towards full forward. McDougall has 2 to beat. Waiting down is Johnston of the Matt variety. He couldn't quite gather. And that professional and premiership defence, again, just going through the motions, almost feels at times. Doing it well, as it's 1-7-13, trailing 5-4-34. Approaching time on the second term, Van Meel wins it down. Knocked there by O'Brien. Dodd got down and dirty and got out the back there towards Taylor. To Dane Llewellyn, left foot measured kick. Diving in there is Canny. And he marks deep in the left forward pocket. And we've seen him kick some spectacular goals in season 2023. This will have to be one of his best. Tucked up in the left forward pocket. They've missed the easy ones, of course, this afternoon, the Kangas. Jeffries, after sign opening term, kicked one of the tougher ones. Canny, the thread, the nail of the eye from the boundary. 18 goals thus far in season 2023. As we tick the time on. Plays on, drop punt on, it's on its way. And he's done it. Absolutely, he's done it. Just gives East Point a bit of a glimmer of hope as we approach red time in the second term to 7:19. Trials 5:4:34 here live at McPherson Park. Nine scoring shots apiece here. In round 13 action, the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League goal there to Liam Canny from the boundary line was a wonderful finish after they've been knocking on the door all term and showed some of his other forwards how to get it done. 45 out, tucked up against the boundary, one of the goals of the day. We'll get back on the way here with Van Meel trying to go the big fist, and in the end he got a second crack at it. High contact against Johnston with the swinging arm coming through. No malice in it. Takes the advantage. He's the thumping kick from 60. Unloads a bomb. That's all the way home. Look at me action from Geordie Johnston. 2 in a minute for East Point as they've breathed life back into the contest here at McPherson Park. Hasn't been at his prolific best in terms of disposals to start this opening half, Johnston, but he just shows what influence he can have on a game from 65, if you don't mind. Gets a second goal in a minute for East Point as we approach half-time. We get back underway here. Van Meel wins it down. Johnston, again, on cue, trying to get this one away. Dodd on his non-preferred side will go towards true centre half forward, while played by Walker. Backing back, took the mark on his chest. Looks to come broadcast side to Watkins. As expected, had plenty of it, the number 17, and goes short with the kick and finds Sullivan. Being lively. Plays on as Melton looked to respond. Runs his full measure towards Carter. Oh, hit him on the chest. He's done Walsh again out the back. It's starting to become a bit farcical deep inside defence, that one-on-one contest. The kick was always to his advantage. Spun him around and marked pretty much 30 metres out directly in front. And Jackson Merritt going into halftime needs to make a swing there because Carter is absolutely tearing Walsh apart in this contest. Why he's been so good is been able to do this very well the last couple of seasons. Carter comes in, pops through his fourth goal and gets a bit of a response after the couple of back-to-back goals from East Point. His fourth of the afternoon makes it 6-4-40. East Point 3-7-25 here at McPherson Park. Again, Sullivan was involved in the build-up there. He's had some important touches and another score assist on that one to Ryan Carter. Dodd. Volleyballs are back to Johnston. Left foot kick will go inside 50. Punched away there by Heaney. He did well. Walker at the back. Hot footed he won. Coming hard was Merritt. Did well not to get his opponent's back. And infringe as we'll get a ball up in between centre half back and the centre of McPherson Park. Approaching 24 minutes gone in the second term. Archard wins it down. Johnston, only man that really wanted from the contest, put his head down but couldn't gather. Dodd, and everything, coughed up to Sullivan. Now off to Watkins, takes a casual bounce through the middle of McPherson Park, looks towards the full forward line, bouncing ball. Kite somehow disposed of it to Taylor. He'll go out the back to Suda, dump it towards full forward. Going to be tough footy to mark. Luau with the double fister brought it to ground. Lovic, step around the whoopie tackle, was bumped. Got at the back there to Gangley. Dumps it out of the fence. Johnston was sitting underneath this one and will mark. They look to switch it on the far side where they got the runner. Conlon will take one bounce. Looks more central. Runs his full measure on the second attempt. Goes towards full forward. Backing back. Heaney had his name over that one as soon as it left the boot and took the mark. He'll go long to the outer side as it starts to open up at the back end of this term. Will favour the Bloods, no doubt. As I say that, they just take a moment to hold things up and go wide, and mark's taken there by Carter. The switch has been made with Fraser looking like he's going to get a little footy examination, as Carter has been brilliant, coughs this one up. Merrick read it best. He tries to go right down the middle, looking for Robertson, but again, Heaney deep in the fences. Beating the wall they can't break down, takes another intercept grab. Back in the lineup this week and goes short and finds Connor, who just tells his teammates, I'm going to slow things down a little bit. Short ball to Hibbard. Goes to Truson out back, should find Walker. He wants to go down the middle with a nice pass, and again, now Kite slipped at the back here. He's unopposed as it goes inside 50, and he'll mark. Geordie Kite with it. Waits for the lead of Taylor. Fist away there by Lovick. Not done with yet, though. Kite tries to make amends. Goes at the back towards Walker. Got an unkind bounce. Great follow-up by Johnston. Somehow kept alive there by Irvine. And spearing pass is a beauty down the line. Whittaker takes the mark. On true centre wing, has it. Irvine might cut one where no young male would like to cut one. He's down behind the footy. Walker paid the mark. Appeals that maybe hit the turf. So Walker has it. Defence side of centre wing. 26-minute mark will go long down the line. John, best position there was a East Point player, and Fraser up to meet it. Couldn't take it with the one hand, and still down is Irvine in the hands of trainers. Not looking well at all. Youngster back in the lineup. The umpire does the right thing, and we'll give him a chance to get him off the field. As I said, think he's under count. I saw two come from him, but maybe cut one where you don't want to cut one. Looking very sick and sorry, the number 2 coming off the ground. We'll get back underway here pretty much on true centre wing on the broadcast side. Archard won it down. Maito coming through. Wrapped up nicely there by Dane Llewell. And a ball up. Big couple minutes to close the second term coming up here. A goal either way is massive in the spectrum of the contest. One down there by Archard. Got it back, his own footy back. The outside of the boot, dumps it inside 50. And Walsh's poor day continues. He drops an uncontested mark. And Fraser dumps Carter inside 50. And he'll line up for his 5th goal of the afternoon, as the crowd has certainly come alive here at McPherson Park. Walsh, well, not the direct opponent on Carter on that occasion. Opened the door again for Ryan, though, dropping a uncontested chest mark deep in his defence as his horrible afternoon continues. Fraser held on too long in the tackle, brought Ryan to ground, who could have a handful as we approach half-time here, lining up from 50 on a 45-degree angle at the 28.5-minute mark. Last year's Tony Lockett medalist, Ryan Carter, steps just inside the paint, on the siren, and kicks his 5th of the afternoon. There was a couple back-to-back goals from East Point to breathe a bit of life into the contest, but Ryan Carter kicks 2 in a row to close the half out here at McPherson Park. 7 goals, 4-46, leads 3-7-25, and Carter, as I said, has 5 majors in the opening half, being goals to Kite and Sullivan to support him, whilst for East Point, well, we had a thumping right foot goal the way of Johnston. Chaney finished nicely from the pocket. Jeffrey kicked one on the quarter-time siren and told everyone all about it. But besides that, it's been an opening half about them missing some real gettable opportunities. Whittaker from only 35, Fraser from 40. They could have really made it a different sort of ball game going into the halftime break, but Ryan Carter, 5 goals inside 50, leads the way and is the difference in the contest. And going into the second half, there'll be some harsh words, I think, but to the back 6 of East Point, who've let an opportunity slip in that term with goals to Carter on multiple occasions. We'll take a 10-minute break here and we'll be back for the second half here in round 13 in action in McDonald's Ballarat Football League.
The McValue Bundle at Macca's. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on?
Push buttons to park magically.
Welcome back to McPherson Park for round 13 action in the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League. Of course, road safety round this afternoon here in Melton. And it's the home side, the Bloods 7-4, 46 that lead East Point 3-7-25. Last year's Tony Locker medalist and Ryan Carter leads the way with 5 goals in the opening half. And some poor kicking at the other end from East Point has added some distance on the scoreboard. 11 scoring shots to 10. And in that term, East Point actually controlled the territorial dominance, I guess, in terms of the weight of possession of the game. But just inaccurate kicking from the likes of Fraser, the likes of Whitaker, cost them. Melton got the other end 5 straight for their spearhead, Ryan Carter, who's in for a big afternoon. And their ability to continue to isolate him one-on-one has been the real difference. Walsh had the job in the opening half, went to young Fraser to try and stem the bleeding. They really don't have a lot of other options. Whitaker's not going to go down there anymore these days. Walsh is going to start forward, so they'll probably stick with Fraser, I guess, to start the second half. I mean, back in the day, Van Mules, in the premiership days, had played deep in the fence. He's now just the number 1 ruckman permanently for East Point, so they're going to have to persist. Go with young Fraser, 5 or 6 games into his senior footy career. Probably got the toughest task in local footy at the minute. Ryan Carter on a rampage. 5 goals in the opening half. Players are in position, ready to go for the second half here live. As I said, round 13 action in the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League, live from McPherson Park. It is Melton who lead by 21 points at the major break. 7 goals for 46. 3 goals, 5-25. And we're off and running to kickstart the second half. One down there by Archard. Watkins went without it. Dodd, spin move was nice to Van Meel. They need a quick start as he drills it inside forward 50 with the bouncing ball. Jeffrey's got the unkind bounce. Merritt, though, may look better. Back off to Dodd. Goes over the top for Verugia with the fist. Is met solidly there by Johnston as it spills out of play and over the line in the front of the Melton coach's box. Not necessarily, they'll be happy with the scoreline, but probably not the best start for Melton in this game. There's probably still plenty to work on in Aaron Timms' mind. Archer down to Watkins. So Jack to Lockie, coughed it up though. Molan to Johnston, spearing past only as far as Archer. He goes around the body. Dang, Luell couldn't take the intercept. Carter, look away hand pass to Russell. And Luell got him. Holding the ball advantage is taken. Johnston will drill a long one towards full forward. And again, mark taken there by Phillips. The intercept marking has been superb from Melton all afternoon. Heaney with a handful himself. Phillips this time takes it. Long to the outside. Van Meel does well to spoil. Walker's done well against 2-on-1. It was actually a strange option, I thought, by Phillips to go long and wide in that contest. Aerial advantage was always going to favour East Point, but neutralised it. Goal stoppage. Slight win. Back underway here. Van Meel reaching over top, won it down. Dougal wrapped up immediately there by the Monito tackle. He was lively on the far wing in the second half, had plenty of the footy. Averaging 25.5 disposals a game in season 2023, of course, was that revelation. Came out of nowhere to start last season for the Bloods and played every game and was superb, and on cue comes away with it. High ball down the line. Fraser spoiled it with his boot. Unconventional, but got the job done. Ball still working his way towards half forward for Melton as they go off the deck as it dribbles inside forward 50. Bouncing ball, Kite just overran it. Gangley tried the one-hand pick out. Was maybe held without it. Umpire agrees with me as Melton snapped and goaled, but it's going to come back. Free kick the way of East Point. So the Kangas hold up in defence, go short. Slater takes the mark. Jordy Slater will play on towards centre wing with a kick. Phillips just worked Whitaker underneath the footy. Merritt up to meet it, will knock it towards the boundary line. Suter and him collide, and Blake Suter being super, as always. Very consistent across that half-back line, was best on ground in the 2022 grand final. We're back underway on true centre wing from The outer side, virtually up from our broadcast position, as Watkins with the clearance will dump a high one towards half forward. Slater took a nice mark. Confidence booster for East Point as he goes laterally, finds the target. Johnston up to meet it, he marks. Tries to buy off the corridor kick towards his brother. Geordie couldn't take the mark, bounced up nicely. Spin move was superb, off to Lovic. This is a good play for Jeffries. And half forward tucked on the arm, and Ferrugia was bearing down and got him. That's going to excite the crowd. They come alive as Ferrugia with a run-down chase tackle wins the free kick in the fence for Melton. Just when you thought East Point were building something. Conrad Ferrugia goes short and finds Walker. And he'll just measure the pass to Watkins. How often have we called that today? Walker to Watkins or Watkins to Walker. Goes over top and finds Cotter. Was collected as he kicked. High ball go towards half forward. Kite forced to spoil. Dang, got it to Gangley. Going nowhere in the Sullivan tackle. And the umpire says, I'll throw it in the air on the half forward line. Waits for the ruckman to get there. There's the umpire, 55 from goal. Vermeer went early. Archard somehow got it only as far as Dodd. Stepped in traffic, had plenty of time, is gone. Holding the ball, free kick, got away of Russell. Had a so-so day. Goes long. Where's Carter? That's where the kick's going to go. Oh, and then a pack of 3 marks and kicks his 6th. He's too big, too strong, and too good this afternoon. Numbers favoured East Point, yeah, but the competition's leading goal kicker was able to just take the easy mark. And thumped through goal number 6 of the afternoon. They all went up. They all went down. Only man who was able to take it was Ryan Carter. Bootsy's 6th goal of the afternoon. Another mark inside 50 and another goal to last year's Tony Lockett medalist. In for a big, big bag. Back on the way here. Johnston got it away there to Llewell. Wobbly left foot kick hit the chest of Jeffries. He couldn't hang on. Walker out to, there towards the big man and Archer. Now Ferrugia. They queue up from half back as he drills one towards guess who? Carter. Fraser did well, worked his way to the front, didn't give up. Carter forgot to go for the footy, let it roll out of bounds, and we'll get a ball in. Shows he is human. Looked to his left and was going to apply a shepherd. The football was actually in his grasp, and Fraser walked it over the line. Points to the youngster maybe in that one. As we get back on the way at half forward. Archer wins it down. Opportunity here for O'Brien. Right foot kick will go into the pocket. Cut. Coming up to me there was Walker. Waiting down there was Watkins outside the boot. Fast finish. Couldn't get it through the big sticks. Minor score. Of course, going into this one, East Point were half a percentage point outside the 6. Trailing Redan. They have the tough assignment of hosting North Ballarat at the minute, so percentage will be crucial. Things are threatening to get out of hand here. As Cotter goes deep inside 50. Slater took a nice mark before, couldn't hang on this one. Handball off there. Watkins around the body again. Still maybe a chance here for Kite. Tucked up in the left forward pocket. Slater's able to cleverly and professionally knock that one out of play. We'll get a ball in. 8-5, 53 leads. 3 goals, 7-25. Only goal to start the second half was to guess who? Ryan Carter. He leads all comers with 6 on the ground. One down inside 50. Suda with sharp handball there towards O'Brien. Gets at the front of the contest. Waiting there was Kite. Right foot snap. Never in doubt. And once again, he's able to find some space with many wood and inside forward 50. Kicks his second wonderful goal of the afternoon. And the start there, and Timms have been asking for at half-time, not to take the foot off the gas. They've now kicked the last 4 in the match. And Braden Kite becomes the second mobile goal kick on the ground with his second goal of the afternoon. Yeah, of course, started with 4 goals last time these two sides met back in round 7 this year. Kicked one of the goals of the day earlier this afternoon. That one a little bit academic. Right foot around the body and tucked in the left forward pocket. 7.5 minutes gone in the third term. We're back underway here. Archer wins it down once again. Johnston has something to say about it. Links up with his brother Geordie. Goes towards full forward with a kick. Spills out the back. Suda will professionally try to see this through, although it was kept alive. Walker off the Cotter. Melton happy to use it by foot and deep in their defence. Finds Kite, the last goal kick in the game. The captain plays on. Goes long and high towards centre wing. It's a good kick to favour Walker. Didn't take the mark. Peels for a free kick. Not going the way of the Melton fans to my left. Conlon went short to to Dodd and got it back. Measuring pass to a dangerous area. Faruja read to kick his eyes nicely and cut that one off. Plays on immediately and goes towards centre wing. Kind bounce for Ericsson, who just slaps it out of play. Walker asking the umpire, where was my free kick? Maybe had a case. We're here on true centre wing on the broadcast side. Melton leading comfortably at the minute at McPherson Park, 33 points, if you don't mind. Game high margin. Conlon to himself more than anything. Archer went off the deck. Conlon goes again off the deck, gains territory more than anything. Umpire reckon might pay this one. Yep. Insufficient attempt. Free kick to Melton. As the jeers and cheers fill McPherson Park. Phillips to unload here from halfback. Goes in the Archer direction. Van Meel got the fist. Watkins brought to ground and well played by Johnston, actually not to dump. Lockie Watkins in the tackle there. Back underway here. One down there by Archer unopposed, but Conlon read it best. Dribbling kick will go towards centre wing. Merritt couldn't gather. Neither could Cotter as he's wrapped up in the tackle, and we'll get a ball up here on pretty much true centre wing. It's back underway here. Archer wins it down. Whitaker's just come off the bench, might favour him. Kite got there first. Shrugged the Whitaker tackle, but couldn't get away from Dodd. No prior opportunity. Umpire will ball it in the air. Been in the thick of things in and under. Joey Dodd again. Been in terrific form, as I mentioned earlier in the call. On cue gathers this one. It's gang tackle by Couple. Kite again doing it. O'Brien assisting. That's the beauty of Melton. Have the ability to flip the maintenance around at times. Kite injects himself into the midfield. Poses his contest as Dodd. The hand pass. Stolen away this time by Geordie Kite. Another ball up at the third or fourth stoppage here on pretty much true centre wing on the broadcast side. Archer again. Hit the target man and Kite. He couldn't come away with it. Suda, as the cat's head went down. Brought roughly to the turf. Once again we'll go. Van Meel knocked it down this time. Outside the boot there by Molan. Whitaker had it punched away from him. O'Brien stood up the tackle. Hand pass off to Hibbert. Now Suter went without it. Umpire's going to see that. Free kick for a hold. Shake of the head from the captain, Matty Johnston. Disagreed. And the Bronx cheers from the Melton faithful here at McPherson Park as he goes deep into the defence to find Cotter as they want to switch towards the outside. Heaney's the outlet. Kicks overcooked. Was looking for Walker. Like to have that one again as they send it out of bounds on the half back flank on the other side. East Point need to make their move. Kicked a couple goals in a row and brought some life into the contest as we tick the time on in the second term. Midway through the third, they need a bit of individual brilliance once again to be any chance. Kite going nowhere is wrapped up. Arm wrestle stalemate. Suits East Point in terms of stemming the bleeding. They just need one of their guns to come out and explode it from here. Fist to four there by Van Meel. Suda went without it. And there was Canny doing the role of pressure forward there. Kicked one goal already this afternoon, Liam Canny. He's 19th of the season. Would have to be one of the best small forwards going around at the minute. Unopposed, Archer wins it down. Running through his Maito, tuck it under the arm, went well. High ball will go just inside 50. Big fist over the top there. East Point brings it down. Watkins tries to send it back where it came from. Gangley comes away with it. Nice pass. Should find Johnston in full stretch. Matty Johnston will play on and go towards the outer side with a kick. sits up for his teammate as they work it between themselves. McDougall got the shepherd. He's able to run his full measure, pull the kick to half forward, just at the bootlaces there. Geordie Johnston made it look better than the kick was. Went back to his brother and Matt, trying to manufacture back in the McDougall direction. Smother there by Walker was good. Boot to ball will clear some space more than anything. But big Van Meel got down trying to make a contest. Walker stood up, ran away from the whoopie tackler, dumps it towards half forward. Carter again. Handball off to Watkins, has a vacant 50 to aim at, tries to skid it home, didn't get great connection on the kick, although it continues to bounce, continues to roll on the run side of the post. Almost a bit of fortune for the Melton faithful with a Watkins error kick, taking a nice off break and going through for a minor score just. Luau did the kicking duties, went short and quickly and found Cam Lovick, the vice captain, directing traffic here towards the broadcast side. Nice pass, should find Canny sliding in. Took a fair chunk of the turf with his knees sliding in. Been a lot to talk about this surface in season 2023. Was at one point a bit of a mud heap in the middle. Seems to have held up as the winter months are going on. Gainley comes across in the fence, finds a target in Irvine, who can go the required kick over the top towards Fraser. Wasn't a good one. Made a bit tough for the youngster. And in the end, he actually knocked it into the foot there of Maeda and knocked it out in the full. So, but I'm not sure 100% was intentional. I guess you'll check the vision during the week. Thanks to our good friends at Red Onion. But well played by Fraser and went laterally, found its target. Gainley will go to just the required distance and find Irvine. Seems to have recovered from his blow to the nether region. And went short to Johnston. Building passes in the Lovick direction. Nice hands. Held on strong. Can this help create something? They've really struggled to hit a forward inside 50. Johnston at half forward. Well played by Walker. Knocked it towards the boundary line. Ducked the head and, well, the umpire said he didn't. Still high contact. Free kick the other way of Riley Walker. Plays it well. So free kick for the long sleeve Walker. Premiership defender, of course. Was named Melton's second best in the grand final behind Suda. Off there to the running man in Cotter. Down the middle he goes of McPherson Park. Out the backs once again. Guess who? Ryan Carter. Bouncing balls in his direction. Got rid of his opponent, Fraser, illegally, says the umpire. As he was going to waltz and kick goal number 7. And some unhappy faithful here at McPherson Park. Definitely let us know all about it. Well played, Fraser. Points to you, young fella. Gives it off there to a teammate in Conlon. He'll go long towards the outer side. Nice pass, finds his target. Whittaker will present towards centre wing. That's where the kick goes. Sat on his head. Phillips read it best. Got the fist in there. Unkind bounce from Mahito. Watkins just wanted it more. Gets the kick away into the pocket. Just at the bootlaces of his intended target and Kite. Numbers get back. And Irvine. Now Conlon. Q. Gainley. Irvine again. Wobbly kick. Might be turned over. Kind bounce favours Molan as he goes around his right side. Walsh got one over the shoulder. Umpire wave play on. Heaney comes away with it. Over the top towards Farrugia. Kick only went as far as Molan. He cut it off and found Whittaker on true centre wing, virtually opposite broadcast position. Looping hand pass to Molan again. We'll go inside 50 with the kick. Was collected late and it was a paid downfield, as you may have heard come through the effects marks here. Play on is Taylor. Measuring pass. And he actually threaded the needle of the eye and found the target in Merritt. The coach paid the mark, although goes laterally. And Whittaker doesn't hang on. O'Brien did enough. Not sure why the coach passed it off to his assistant. And in the end, Melton will come away with this out of defence. Strange decision by Merritt, who's been goal kicking form in season 2023. Need to take the moment on himself. As they come towards Kerr. Full stretch, can take the mark here on centre wing. Luell over the top. Found Q. At the front here is Hucker. He'll go towards the full forward position in the hole. Mark's taken there by Cotter. After struggling so long to find forwards in the lead and Mark's inside 50 for East Point, to just see their coach Jackson Merritt square one up unnecessarily laterally to Whittaker. I know you want to get the big fella in the game, Jacko, but I think the moment there was for yourself. Mark's taken here by Hibbert on halfback. Done a couple of nice things back in the lineup this week, of course. And we'll just dump this one long and down the line. Well, from the side, couldn't mark this time. And out of play the ball goes. We'll get a ball in. Just the attacking side of centre wing for Melton. They're 9 goals, 660. Leads 3-7-25. We've played almost 18 minutes in the third term here at the wonderful McPherson Park. Back underway. Archer takes front position. Van Meel did well work his way to the contest. Quick kick there from Taylor. Gains some distance. Merritt knocks it towards the boundary line. In the end, collects his own footy. Nice handball will find Jeffries on his non-preferred side. Pulls it to the hot spot. Kick will favour Ferrugia. Although Canny got there. Handball off to Johnston for a steadier from 35. Has missed it the near side. Well, they needed a captain's goal. He couldn't get it between the big sticks there. Kind bounce favoured Canny. Johnston running past. Got the footy. Was running at full speed and full velocity. But you would have expected him to live up to the moment. Keep his side in touching distance, but as been the story of the day, he misses. I was waiting for the footy come back over the fence. Jordy Cotter takes a drink, offers the goal umpire one. Bit of class from the premiership defender. So Cotter will be able to use his full measure. Sees an option down the middle instead of Suter. We have seen him go end-to-end on 2 occasions now, Melton. Will this be another as Suter goes long to the outside? It's a nice pass. Mark is taken. They'll go towards centre-half forward. Kite the intended target. Kicked in favour of him. Gangley with it. Comes in board, finds Dodd. He's a classy left foot user. Walsh trying to make that one his own. Jeffries brought to ground in the Ferrugia tackle. And you'll hear plenty from the crowd here with every footy that Jeffries is around for the remainder of the afternoon. He's wrapped up pretty much in the heart of McPherson Park. Another ball up. One down as far there is Watkins. Goes the second time and somehow manufactured a kick. Umpire won't pay 15. Big tackle applied there by East Point and by the ruckman Van Meel. Holds things up. Russell unable to escape his grasp. We're back underway. Archer down to Russell. Got boots the ball just in time. Lovic looked at his teammates and said, I guess I'll go. And halfback is wrapped up there by Kerr. Umpire waves play on. And in the end says, I'll throw it in the air. 55 from goal. Need a spark here to East Point. They're wrong in their field. Probably need a couple of goals before the three-quarter time break to be any chance. Umpire's paid to throw, the non-officiating umpire. And it's going to go the way of Melton. Bit of confusion of who he's got to go to. It's going to go the way of Walker. Goes inside 50. Eriksson was a loose man. Over his head. We're trying to get the Carter. Off the deck goes Lovic. Foot race on in earnest. Leading it for East Point with Robertson. He gets there first. Has support. Goes back to Hucker. Goes inboard with the kick. Walsh marks. Waits for the cavalry to arrive. McDougall, the only man inside 50, has a 2-on-1 to contend with. That's where the kick's going to have to go. Taylor trying to get that support across. And in the end, it was never going to be a chance. Cotter in front. Takes an easy mark. Goes back in the fence. Finds Ferrugia. Switch could be over here on the broadcast side in Suter, and that's where it goes. It's a wobbly kick, and then Blake got an unkind bounce. Made it look better than it was. Handball over top was good. Found a teammate. Measured pass. Fun kite. Playing a footy for Jack Walker there. Again, linked up in the chain. Found his co-captain in Braden Kite. Go back to the man who gave it to him as the captains again combined, and Jack to Lockie. And go back in defence to the other Walker if he wants, and we'll get 3 Migos in a row, but they don't. And he goes short to require 15 to Taylor. Goes off the Kite. Mucking around with a little bit Melton, but possessing it nevertheless. Short ball was measured to Watkins. He goes inboard and finds O'Brien. Runs past, doesn't get rewarded with the hand pass, so the big fellow John O'Brien will take the kick himself. Goes inside 50, looking for the obvious target in Carter. Couldn't mark. Johnston over the top finds a target. East Point come away with it deep in the fence. Looking for the lead there. McDougall couldn't take the mark. Dodd at the crummer. Hand pass at the back. We'll find Irvine off a casual step. Just the required 15. Umpire will pay the mark. 22 minutes going in the third term. East Point have it in front of the electronic scoreboard, which reads 9-6-60 to 3 goals, 8-26. Slow to get back up to his feet there is Joey Dodd. Little man's been in and under all afternoon. Takes his time and thumps a long one down the line. Big fly at the top early was from Johnston, didn't touch it. Heaney dumps the left foot kick high and wide, and not so Hampson. It's gone out in the full. Will end up in the hands there of East Point once again. Have done well to stem the bleeding, but need to get some damage on the scoreboard. Hucker will bring it back in. 1, preferably 2 before the break. Might just give him a sniff. The right screen has been the favourable end all afternoon. We're going to try to complete the switch out here to the broadcast side. They've got numbers in Q and Lou. Llewell did well. Well played by Dang Llewell, and he goes snap forward. Kicks not perfect. Jeffries overran it. Watkins at the back. Walker to Russell. Watkins. Slight fumble from him. Rare to see. Good tackle by Conlon. Ball spills out. Russell. Walker. Phillips. Over top to Hibbard. Goes back to where it came from. Calls the kick, it might be the option. He goes down the line. It's actually a nice pass and good hands from Jack Watkins, VFL captain, of course, at North Melbourne. Gives off to his brother Lockie, who goes inside 50 with a kick. Sits the task there for Kai from the back. Couldn't take the mark. Ball it favours Slater. Gangley ends up picking up himself and comes out to broadcast side. Well played, Harry Gangley. A nice mark there by Daniel. He's shown glimpses that he's ready for this level. Done a couple of nice things. The silky left footer of halfback on debut. Goes the required 15, finds Merritt. Coach working high up the ground. Long ball will be towards true centre wing. Big pack of plays. Walker couldn't hang on. Maito went to go corridor, which is always going to be dangerous. Dodd dumps it inside 50, 101 contest. Trying to get the back was Robinson. Taylor gets the crumbs, has a loose man breaking for him inside 50. The kick was perfect to Hucker. He dropped it, still has time. Setties pulled the kick at the last minute. Maybe should have gone for goal, and Walker hacks it out of the fence. We'll go straight to the boundary line. Umpire, I think, will call insufficient attempt. Had to. Modern interpretation, there was no other way that could have been called. Whether you like it or not, free kick away of East Point. Need some bang for their buck. Laterally goes Irvine and finds a target in Gangley. Johnston boys neither inside 50, so that real aerial option isn't there. Lateral kicks a good one towards Geordie. He was just waiting a true centre forward. Might now throw a link up with his brother. Sets him a task, backing back. He ran off his man, almost took the mark. And numbers again favour Melton. Suter at the front of the contest will get it. Goes the required kick down the line. Fisted away there by Dane. Q goes to Llewell. This is on inside forward 50. Dane can't pick it up. He's had fumbles everywhere. Kite couldn't get it. Big shepherd there by Q. Trying to stick with the action here as Slater goes on his left side. It's on inside forward 50 as I mentioned. McDougall couldn't quite gather. Diving in there was Watkins. Come away with it was Mullen. Has nothing to aim at because they're all wrestling each other. Merritt wasn't though. Slips at the back. Big fist by Walker over the top. Helped his mate out. Riley Walker. Clearing kick's not a good one. Can he back him back? Should mark. Didn't. Copped some attention in the marking contest. Hucker gave it to Walker. Gets a second chance to try to clear him ends. Dribbling kicks only as far as Irvine. He has support behind the footy, and that's what he does. Goes inboard and finds Van Meel. The big fella. Lowers the eyes. Merritt on the lead. Nice hands. Took the mark on 50. Outside his range. I would have thought, but when he pointed that he's going to go. Spotted a loose man. Sliding in there. Marks taken by Irvine. So Kane Irvine back in the lineup this week. Been impressive on that far side wing. Had plenty of important touches. And no more important than this. Will shoot from goal at the 27-minute mark. Can't be on left and term. Of course, seen goals on the quarter time and second quarter. And now the third quarter may be coming up. So to continue that trend, Irvine will shoot. 45-degree angle. 45 metres out. For his first goal in senior footy, if you don't mind. Irvine, big kick to keep maybe East Point in it. It's on its way. It's not going to make the distance. It's going to fall short. And the Pointers go goalless in the premiership quarter, if you will. They move to 3-8-26, trailing 9-6-60. Melton, well, they deserve their commanding lead as we go into the final break. Ryan Carter has 6 goals leading all comers. A couple to Braden Kite whilst Brody Sullivan also has a goal. Whilst for East Point, Canny, Johnston and Jeffries are the goal kickers. As we take a final break, we'll be back for the final term here, round 13 in action in McDonald's Ballarat Football League.
The McValue Bundle at Macca's. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on?
Push buttons to park magically.
Welcome back to McPherson Park for round 13 action in the McDonald's Bella Netball League. Of course, road safety round this afternoon. Here being celebrated at Melton, and it's the home side, the Bloods, that lead 9 goals 660 to East Point's 3-8-26. Off air having conversations about the Kangas in season 2023, and obviously going into this season, there was a big focus from Jackson Merritt on the youth. And the youth's been the ones this afternoon has kept him in it. I think Fraser's battled hard. The swap from Walsh to him on Carter's paid a little bit of dividends and stemmed the bleeding a bit. I think Mullins had plenty of footy, and he's I don't think he's at this level much longer. Dane Llewell, first games, impressed and showed a little bit. It's been the veterans, particularly the two focal points inside 50. McDougall and Whittaker have had poor afternoons. Just not getting any goals out of them or any real impact. So Melton will look to East Point will look to their leaders. It can't just be the Johnston brothers every week. It needs someone else to join the party. And particularly someone just going to grab the bull by the horns, per se, and slam home some goals. 34 points is the margin. We're off and running for the final time this afternoon at McPherson Park. Watkins trying to come away with it, couldn't do so. Dodd wrapped up by Lockie Watkins, and we'll get a secondary ball up to restart here at McPherson Park. Of course, been such a fortress for the Bloods. Only lost the one game in the last 2 years here, and that was, of course, the Darley this year. Watkins got an unkind bounce and that sort of sticky stuff. Dodd's kick was smothered by Lockie Watkins and gets it a kite. Spun 360 by Johnson. I just thought for a second the young umpire was shaping there for a second, but no prior opportunity. We'll guess for a third of the ball up, if you will. Archered and neutrally wins it down, and Watkins overran it. As the pack of players form, and East Point just rush it forward and hope more than anything. Suter leaves his man and dumps it towards half forward, a bouncing ball. Will now dribble inside forward 50. Well played by Lovic towards Llewell Dang to Fraser. Now Slater, Dodd over the top, finds Molan. He's the link in the chain and gets it off to the McDougall as the teammate, who just goes wide to Jeffries. Try to go back to Molan, and Mojito comes over top and says, I'm not having any of that, and just fists it out of play. And gets some good support from his team. Of course, played all his footy across half-back last year. Spent some time at half-forward in season 2023 and on the wing as well. Averaging 26.5 disposals a game. He's a exciting prospect long-term for Melton. He is number 45, Adrian Mojito. On cue, almost came away with that one. Knocked over the top. There towards Molan. Now Mojito brought to ground without the footy, and will be rewarded with the free kick in front of a healthy electronic scoreboard, which shows a 34-point lead the way of the home side. Adrian Mojito, we got to bring this ball out off half-back. Spearing pass is a good one, finds Watkins. Slightly overshadowed by Jack, of course, today, but still at his industrious best. Averages 28.5 disposals a game in season 2023. Goes long to the outside. Carter couldn't mark this one. Rare side as Kite couldn't gather. Rush forward there by the Bloods towards the boundary line. Russell gets a left foot kick around the body. Not going to be paid the 15. O'Brien just fisted forward. Creates a bit of chaos. Hot footy. Was too hot for the East Point defence. They fumble. Carter does so as well, and we'll get a ball up. 6 goals. Probably takes the lead without knowing goals from the other games in the Tony Lockett race. Trying to go back-to-back. Trying to be the first back-to-back leading goal-kicking competition for a number of years. You have to go all the way back to the likes of Dan Jordan. We've done that. High ball towards half-forward. Big flag was a mark there by Russell. Dang, on his number 3, goes into the corridor, trying to create something, but Heaney takes the mark, not for the first time today. Goes towards half-forward, good kick. A nice mark taken there by Kerr. He plays on. Ferrugia marks. Handball inside off to Walker. Steadies from 40. Pulls at the end. Carter. Hands at the back and points again to the youngster Fraser, has to be said. Did this a couple weeks ago. Sutton was getting away from East Point, and Fraser went to him and did a pretty good job in the second half. And got the swing move again today. Gets the dominant forward and Can hold his head high, Joe Fraser. I think he's a really likely type for East Point for the future. Johnston, nice little hang time here on centre wing, takes a nice mark, plays on and goes towards half forward, looking for Robinson, but played and pushed underneath it cleverly by Walker. Legal as you like, just use the body strongly. Goes towards centre wing, and it's a good kick towards Kite, who copped a little bit of attention from Dodd as he took the mark. No real malice in it as he goes to required 15 and finds the little man in Ericsson. Had a quiet afternoon in a different role in the senior line, of course, across as a pressure forward and a half forward line. Big fly to the top. Almost a mark there to East Point. To Fraser. Shows he's got some hops as well. High ball dribble inside 50. Trying to keep it in was Watkins, but we'll get a ball in. 35 out from goal. Some wrong appeals for deliberate from the East Point faithful who have made the trip up to Melton this afternoon. Stuck it out in what's been pretty perfect conditions, it has to be said, for football. Not too cold. No real breeze. Ericsson from the contest. Carter marks it just before the line. And tucked in the right foot pocket will go for goal number 7. Now these days, it's a pretty easy kick for these footballers. Can walk around and go his non-preferred side, and that's what he's going to try and do. Ryan Carter for number 7, takes a couple of steps, and for the first time today, he has a blemish next to his name. A minor score, 6-1 for Ryan Carter. But they move to 9 goals, 761 to 3 goals, 826. Game high, 35-point margin. Lovic tries to bang one down the middle. Jeffries couldn't mark. Maybe had a case for over the shoulder. Umpire disagrees. Heaney brought to ground in the tackle. Ball up with the only result. Starting to feel academic from here. East Point's not able to get their firepower around the footy. Good tap from Van Meel. Found Conlon. Now McDougall. It's been quiet. Shake to make this tackle. Can run his full measure. In the end, he's able to take a bounce. Pulls the kick at the last minute. Saw something in the corner of his eye, and Jeffries streaming inside 50. Took it at full chest. Tried to give it off to a teammate, but coughed it up. Walker to Cotter. And Melton once again just bolts out of the fence and have a loose target on the outside. They come more actually again to Cotter. Inside the Kite. Derrickson back to Kite. Goes inside 50. Looking for Braden Kite. Couldn't take it the first bite of the cherry. And in the end, gets away there towards Fraser. A measured left foot pass. Finds his target. East Point go towards centre wing. Dodd backing back. Couldn't mark. Suter went hard, no surprise, and follows up a second time. Maybe won himself a free kick. Umpire didn't see it, I think. I think he was blindsided from the players coming across the contest. Suter had his jumper held. No free kick. We'll get a ball up. No goals to start the final term here in round 13 action in McDonald's Ballarat Football League. 35 points is game-high margin, favouring the Bloods. Top side and premiership favourites continue on. Kick backwards there from East Point. It's a poor one. Handy hand in there from Ericsson. Might open the door for a chance on goal. O'Brien tries a big spin move. Good tackle there by Daniel Well. Maybe a slight appeal for a sling, but umpire said it was with the momentum of the tackle. East Point, of course, in 7th place, going to this one half a percentage point outside the 6. I want to keep this as tight as they can if they do lose, because percentage is going to be crucial. With Redan leading them in the 6. They were trailing North Ballarat by about 30 points at half-time, so it'll be close. In terms of that battle of who's in the 6 tonight, East Point could move in there despite a loss if all things go their way. Inside 50 bounce between a few players. Kite forced to tackle. Ball up as a result. Played almost 8 minutes now in the 4th and final term this afternoon here at McPherson Park. Free kick in the ruck. It's going to go against O'Brien. It's going to go the way of East Point. Now Van Meel can hold his head high. I thought he was great last week against Redan and backed up with another solid performance as Joel Van Meel. Comes across defensive goal and finds Slater. Measured pass will find Lovic. It's been a different approach in defence today from East Point. Tried to possess the footy like this. Dang with it. Deep in his defence. Could have gone back to Slater. Decides to go Jeffries working high up the ground. just been the connection inside 50 that's cost them. Canny, work up the centre half back, will take the mark and complete the switch on the far side. Overlap run is ignored initially to Conlon by East Point. Whitaker will go inboard towards Jeffries. He dropped one he probably should have held on to. Mojito goes over the shoulder, finds Ferrugia. From a standing start, Whitaker best position should mark. And the assistant coach is able to take the mark on this occasion. Their leading goal kicker in season 2023 comes across to Gangley. Measured one to Lovick. Walsh is the outlet here on the broadcast side. Should mark and does. Will chip it over the top. Find Hucker, who's got good wheels and takes a bounce to start with. Lowers his eyes and goes towards Robinson. And again, just outclassed by Walker, the 17-year-old from East Point, unable to get access to the footy at its highest point on that occasion. Walsh was blocked out nicely and legally by Sullivan. Meant Carter could pretty much mark unopposed. Took a bounce, dumps a long one inside 50. Kite slipped at the back. He will mark. Stops and steadies. Goes around the body, trying to link up with his brother. The little fella got an unkind bounce. Has to try to make amends here deep in the pocket. Goes across. Well, why not just share it back to me, bro? It's a bit of love, bit of brotherly love from the Bloods. Shot coming up from Braden Kite for number 3. Party time here at McPherson Park. He'll line up for number 3 of the afternoon for the captain. Normally such a beautiful set shot. I did miss one in the opening term, which is a rarity, but we'll put your houses on this one sailing between the big sticks, I would have thought, from 25. Kite comes in and does that expertly. It's the first goal of the final term. It's Melton who draw first blood in the final term to make it 10-7-67 to 3-8-26. If she wasn't already done, she certainly is now. 41 points, a game-high margin. A third goal to Braden Kite. Being good battle between him and Harry Gangley. I don't think Gangley's gave much away to the experienced Braden Kite. He's got at the end some good work from his teammates more than anything to kick 3 goals. He now has 18 for the season, 7 for the year against East Point, if you don't mind. One down there by Archard. Johnston trying to extract, try to really pick the pocket, if you will, of O'Brien. Another ball up as a result. And maybe looking at East Point, what they can gain from this now is maybe a bit more magnet flipping, a bit more, I guess, finding out a bit more about their younger players, if you will. Walker trying to come away with it, couldn't find a target. In the end, a ball up a result. You look at maybe Walsh, should overrun the ruck for a bit. Send the likes of Canny inside and see if he can use his dancing feet. Maybe even the bigger body of Jeffries around the footy. Just try some different things to close the game, because Melton will win here, you know that, as Lovick will come out towards Hucker. He was terrific last week, and not his prolific best this afternoon, but important touch will come in boards back to Lovick. He goes towards half forward to Whitaker, fisted away nicely by Phillips. One of, if not the best one-on-one defender in the competition. And that kicks back in his direction, and he wins another one-on-one. Takes on the whoopie tackler at the back to Walker. He'll go in towards the middle of McPherson Park. Q, handball over top, will find Conlon. Has Irvine, didn't give it. Went to half forward, slipping over was Walsh. Ferrugia took the mark and pulled himself up. Acquitted himself nicely since making his debut early in the season against Redan. Ferrugia hasn't missed since. Of course, made the interleague side in the under-23s as well. So as his career goes from strength to strength. Young 20-year-old, 19-year-old from Melton. Hibbert goes inboard. We'll find Cotter. He marks and had plenty of the footy as always. Cotter. We'll go back to where it came from, and Melton happy to chip it around from here, you would think. They've done enough to deserve a 41-point victory this afternoon. Hasn't been one-way traffic as the scoreboard would suggest. East Point wasteful early. And then once they left the door ajar in the second half, you always knew Melton going to come home with a wet sail. They have the last 6 times these sides have played, winning the second half on all occasions and winning the contest. High ball from Watkins will go towards half forward and to Carter. Good hands. Took the mark. Vacant 50 to aim at. Kite's the natural target. The kick's perfect to him. He'll take the mark. Gives it to his brother and Geordie, and he kicks the goal. More brotherly love from the Kite boys. Jordan set up with Braden's last, and Braden now giving a cheap one over the top to Geordie. Maybe he's going for his Chris Kringle this year, I don't know, but that's as easy as you like for his first goal of the afternoon. $11.70. 73 leads, 3 goals, 8.26 as my mathematics has failed me for just a moment. Need to get my abacus out to figure that one out, but we got there in the end. Melton in commanding lead. Off back to the square where it was Johnston in a different starting position. It's starting to blow out here on the scoreboard and will obviously be hurting the East Point percentage, as I've mentioned. Mahito on the outsides brought the ground to tackle. Ball spills free and rushed forward by East Point off the deck there by Q. We'll just gain territory more than anything. Dodd. Over the top will find its target. Jeffries. Hand pass. Will find the loose man inside 50. And Walsh's horrible afternoon, it has to be said, continues as he overruns it with the unkind bounce. He was all by himself in the left foot pocket with no one around him and made a meal of it as the ball's gone out of play. We're going to ball in, 30 up from goal. East Point just trying to get respectability, as I said, on the scoreboard. After some promising signs in the second term, they faded away out of the contest as predicted. Walker's kick was partially smothered. Merritt out the back to Canny. Over the top. Touched off the boot, and Ferrugia disguises through nevertheless for East Point's first score of the afternoon in this final term. 3-9-27 now they move to. Haven't kicked the goal in the second half yet. A couple of bounces from fullback from Cotter. Ferrugia. Hibbard will go over the top to the loose man in Walker as Melton continued to just slip at the back. Kick wasn't perfect, was touched slightly, but Kite made it better. The Phillips loads up a long kick towards centre forward. It's a good pass, and Braden Kite's all himself inside 50. That's where Kerr goes. And in this final term, he's been everywhere inside forward 50. Kite, I said, was being well hard by Gangley for the majority of the afternoon. Starting to get a bit ugly with 3 goals to his name now. Rafford won with his brother before. And for goal number 4, Kite will line up pretty much directly in front. He's a beautiful kick. I'll let the crowd do the work for me. And a little golf clap sort of ticked things off. Just a workman-like performance this afternoon from Melton. Braden Kite kicks his 4th major of the afternoon. And the Bloods continue to run away with it here at McPherson Park. $12.779 to 3.927. Poor kicking from East Point and some wonderful execution at the other end's the story here. Carter's kicked 6. Kite's now got 4. Talked about in pre-game being the 2 focal points, and Kite, in the absence of Liam Carter and Davis, would have to hit the scoreboard like he did in round 7. He's done just that, being that wonderful link in the chain. As we get a secondary ball at the restart. Taylor having a rare run the ruck. Beaten by Van Meel. Hand pass off there to Kite. Continues to run on. He kicked half forward. Gangley did well with the one hand, and kick out of halfback's a good one. Molan got a good set of Dukes. Played on immediately. The youngster goes towards half forward, looking for Matty Johnston. Fisted up top there by Cotter. Might end up in Cotter's hands, but Heaney got a slight case of the fumbles. Kenny got him. Umpire will say, ball in the air between centre wing and half forward for East Point on the broadcast side. Cotter with a nice spoil there, showing that he's not just an offensive weapon back, but well and truly good enough to play on a direct opponent if need be. Van Meel down to Taylor. Around the body looking for McDougall. Should mark. Took the mark. Molan was running past, ignored that. Shifted it to half forward and should be marked there by Walsh. Too far at the score. East Point, of course, yet to kick a goal in this second half. He hits the hot spot. Merritt from the back. Couldn't take the grab. Pile driving into the turf there is Cotter in the back, says the umpire. Might be a little bit sore getting up from that one. But a right smile from Geordie Cotter as he plays on and goes to the outer side. Electronic scoreboard reads 12-7-79 to 3-9-27 as Watkins can go laterally if he likes to Ferrugia. Decides to go further afield. Finds the target at Archard. Big fella just resting up forward to close out. Don't need a Rolls Royce to close it out in the ruck from here. Can give young Taylor a run around the ruck, so maybe try to hit the scoreboard as well, Benny boy. As he goes high and a half forward. Carter forced a fist. Falls in the lap. Kerr threw it away. Well, actually got one over the shoulder, so it's going to come back and be a free kick the way of Melton. Running passes for Ferrugia. He goes up to Archard with a standing start. Had to get it back to Ferrugia. Try and make amends, and he slapped it nicely to Watkins. He dumps it inside, forward 50. Looking for Ryan Carter. Fraser again goes with that footwork, trying to clear. And a big tackle applied in the fence. We'll lock things out. Luxury, I guess, for Aaron Sims from here is he can put the likes of Jack Walker on ice. The likes of Watkins on ice. If he chooses to. They're going to have a commanding victory. As they have only had the one loss in season 2023. Of course, was here against Darley. Since then, have put signs to the sword in the second half has been their trademark under Aaron Timms. Been able to blow signs away. I mean, of course, last year famously kicked 13 goals against today's side, East Point in a quarter. Banging them home in the second half here. Ball still in their 50. Hibbard gave it off looking for Sullivan. He couldn't quite gather. Conlon called his name a lot this afternoon. Has the boundary line as his saviour in this one. And didn't like the little bit of attention that Suter gave him. But we'll get a ball in. Only the 4 goal kickers this afternoon for Melton. Might suggest they've only got a slight kink in their armour. Heavy reliance on the usual suspects to get it done, but that won't bother them as long as they're getting them between the big sticks enough to win games of footy, which they are at the minute. With 12 goals, 7-79, leading 3 goals, 9-27. Our fullback goes Molan. Only as far as Heaney from outside 50. Sets one up to the top of the goal square. Touched off the boot, so Fraser spoiled to Lovic. Heads towards the back pocket and to Gangley's. Tried to step around the would-be tackler, couldn't, and he's gone. And guess who? Ryan Carter is the man who got him. Again, a turnover's going to result in another shot on goal for Ryan Carter. Wouldn't be surprised if Jacko Merritt's best, though, he has young Joe Fraser, because I think since he's gone to him in the later stage second term, Carter's kicked a couple, but not really to the fault of young Joe. That one definitely not his. As Gangley was stripped of it holding the ball, and Carter can come in for number 7 for 38 of the season, and he's got it. He pops it through. His big afternoon continues here at McPherson Park. Well in the time on in the final term. Melton continue to extend their lead here in round 13 action. McDonald's Ballard Football Network League live from McPherson Park. Six goals to 0 in the second half here is blown out the scoreboard in what's been at times a tight tussle, but still safe to say the better side, the home side, Melton, have been deserving victors this afternoon, has to be said. Taylor wins it down. Hand pass there by Molan off the Hucker. Goes towards half forward. Ferrugia's got his name written on this one. Takes the mark. Kick was intended either for Walsh or Taylor, but Conrad Ferrugia just made it his own. Just becoming a really important role player across that half-back line. Would be in the mid-20s, I reckon, in terms of disposals this afternoon, as he goes short and finds Archard. It's a good combination when you get the likes of him, Suter, Cotter. You can always flick Mahino back. Plenty of ball-winning defenders for the Bloods. Connor on cue. Averaging 30 disposals a game goes to Walker. Now Phillips. Long ball. Carter! Went early. Couldn't take the mark. Would have capped off the afternoon, but bounced off his chest. Irvine takes the mark inside the fence and spears it down the line towards Robinson. Again, almost clunked it. The youngster couldn't come away with it. Phillips stepped inside, was stripped of him. Hibbert, left foot kicks off the outside of the boot. Will fall in the field of play and marked there by Harry Gangley. Tries the daring kick towards centre-half back, towards Lovic. Missed him. Kind bounce will favour East Point though. Got numbers on the far side. Just need to work it out between them, and Hucker does that. Off to Cam Lovic. Over the top. Kangas go for a run. Long ball from Canny will go inside 50. McDougall slipped at the back. A marks on his chest. Was in good goal kicking touch going into this one. Had 20 disposals and 5 goals last week. Been poor, and that's sort of been the story of his time with East Point. He's one really good game, then a poor one, then an okay game, then another good one. It's just sort of like a repeat cycle, not unable to get true form as a key forward. Gets underneath that one, won't make the distance. Will step to square, will be off by Walsh. And being honest, he's had a horrible afternoon, Mitch Walsh, but you can go back and kick this. Just give him a little bit of confidence going into next week, as being swung forward and kicks East Point's only goal thus far of the second half. Walsh marks and goals at the 25-minute mark of the final term. So East Point, late into the second half, get their first goal of the final half. It's from one of their normal key defenders in Walsh, highlighting their struggles they've had in front of the big sticks this afternoon. Watkins, gang tackle now. Johnson had the arm, and Dodd came over the top. That could have been dangerous for Watkins, who was brought to the turf, but comes out of it unscathed. Taylor, only as far as Johnston. Slung. Kick will wobble inside 50. Robinson trying to get there won't. Well, he does in the end keep it alive. I thought he was going to let it go out. Umpire says, give it to me and I'll throw it in there into the left forward pocket for East Point. Only been able to kick back-to-back goals once this afternoon. That's when we thought the game was on. Closing into the second term, but it was all Melton from there. Ended up slamming home 9 unanswered goals as McDougall go inside 50. Nice kick. Finds the target. Mark's taken there by Molan. And he'll line up from about 35 metres out. And keep saying, I've said it a number of times in the second half, a percentage is important, of course, for East Point. Half a percentage point going to this one outside the 6. Every goal they kick late here gets them one step closer to, I guess, Redan, who were losing when I last checked at halftime to North Ballarat. Depending on the result there will shape the 6, of course. A loss is not what Merritt ordered. A goal to Molan, though, might give him a slight smile. He pops it through. His first one of the afternoon. And he's one of these youngsters, of course, who's been in the talent league with the Rebels. At this level, he's kicked 5 goals and averaging 22.5 disposals a game. He's a superstar. They got him across from the Mount Clear Junior program, and the footy factory there at Mount Clear's been very fruitful to clubs like East Point in the past. Just another one they've brought through, and he's definitely, well, if he stays at this level, going to be a superstar, although he might have bigger ambitions the way he goes about his business. Van Meel wins it down. Johnston will come away with it. Maybe some late joy for East Point. So they went towards inside 50 to close things out in the final term. It's a victory to Melton this afternoon. A deserving win. 13 goals, 785. Has defeated 5 goals, 10-40 this afternoon. although the electronic scoreboard has 5 goals, 9. So we'll get that corrected eventually at the end. But a commanding victory this afternoon, the way of East Point. For them, Carter kicked 7 goals and was probably the difference in the match. Kite, 4 goals, 3 of them coming in the final term. They had a bit of icing on the cake. Geordie Kite and Brody Sullivan, the other goal kickers for them, whilst for East Point, Canny, Walsh, Johnston, Jeffrey and Molan were the individual goal kickers this afternoon. Looking ahead for East Point, well, their quest to get back inside the competition top 6 has got a lot harder. They need a scalp. Trailed up high with ambition this week to take on Melton. They had a pretty decent record against the Bloods, particularly in opening halves. Today, bad kicking cost them in that department. Melton continue just with the workmanlike performance, get the 4 points and certainly deserve another victory as they stay clear on top of the ladder in the Ballarat Football Netball League. Their forward line may have a couple of injuries, but they've been well helped with Carter's 7 goals as he now has 38 for the season and Kite with 4. They take on Melton South next week, which will be another comfortable victory, you have to say, whilst East Point play Ballarat in a must-win game now against a side that's also outside the competition's top 6. Convincing win for Melton, well-deserved. Midfield was super. Walker had plenty of it. Watkins had plenty of it as expected. The forward line kicked the goals. And the 4 points for Aaron Timsman in round 13 action in the Ballarat Football Netball League has been achieved. Until next week, hope to join you in action once again. But until then, it's a bye for now from McPherson Park.